O come and let us to the Lord in songs our voices raise. With joyful noise let us the rock of our salvation praise. Many of us will be familiar with this metrical version of our psalm today. I might typically pick it as an opening hymn to a service. It's a song of approach as we come to the Lord in worship. There is great joy to be found in the presence of the God who created the world and who holds it in being, who through its richness keeps his people fed, and who watches over them as a shepherd caring for his sheep. Yet as we read the psalm, so we realize that somewhere the people have forgotten all of this. This is a psalm for a people who have lost their way. The psalmist longs for the people to return to hear God's voice, but instead they are in danger of turning away as they did in the wilderness during the Exodus wanderings long ago. In the desert, the people challenged and tested God by asking whether the Lord was with them or not. Exodus 17 tells us that it was at Massah and Meribah on Mount Sinai, a name which means testing and complaining, that Moses struck the rock and fresh water came out for the people. Well, in the end, the result of the Hebrew grumblings led the people being made to endure 40 years in the wilderness, and it was only the children of the slaves who had escaped Egypt, those who had learned in the wilderness to trust in God. Well, they were the only ones who were able to enter the promised land, the place of rest. Psalm 95. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving and extol him with music and song. For the Lord is the great God, the great King above all gods. In his hands are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. Come, let us bow down in worship. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care. Today, if only you would hear his voice. Do not harden your hearts as you did at Meribah, as you did that day at Massah in the wilderness, where your ancestors tested me. They tried me, though they had seen what I am. For 40 years I was angry with that generation. I said, they are a people whose hearts go astray, and they have not known my ways. So I declared on oath in my anger, they shall never enter my rest. The psalmist calls for the people to turn again to the Lord, where they will find joy. But too quickly he knows that we forget that we need the Lord, and that it is trust in him that opens the way to eternal rest. To not face challenges may make us comfortable, but it can also make us decadent and unconcerned with doing what is right. In bowing down to God in worship, in humility before their Maker, so we discover not only who God is, but we learn about ourselves and our need of God. In this way, we shall find care and tenderness from a God who loves us. A prayer for today. O come and let us worship him. Let us bow down with all, and on our knees before the Lord our Maker let us fall. Let us indeed come before you in humility, O Lord, that we may learn that you care and provide for us as a shepherd, and that only in you do we find our rest. Amen.